I am N.S. Venkatraman. I am speaking on behalf of Nandini Consultants Center, which is a firm of chemical engineers and chemical business consultants based at Chennai and Singapore. Sterlite copper is one of the big industrial units in Tamil Nadu, located at Tuticorin. It has been producing copper metal with annual capacity of 4 lakh tons, as well as sulfuric acid with annual capacity of 12 lakh tons. This company has been in existence and operating for over a decade now. Right from the beginning, when Sterlite Copper started operating, a section of activists, politicians have been conducting a campaign against Sterlite Copper, stating that it has been causing environmental hazards. But in spite of such allegations, Sterlite Copper has been operating and consistently denying such allegations that it has been violating environmental norms. There have been a number of cases, court proceedings. There have been closure of the unit, then restarting of the unit. In 2013, the Green Tribunal finally gave a conclusion that if at all there is any emission or environmental issue in Tuticorin, it has nothing to do with Sterlite Copper and allowed the unit to operate. In spite of this positive judgment of the Green Tribunal, section of activists and some politicians have been continuing the campaign against Sterlite Copper. Now, when these activists and the politicians succeeded in converting the peaceful campaign against Sterlite Copper into a violent one, resulting in loss of innocent lives consequent to police firing, the then Tamil Nadu government got panicked and decided that the Sterlite Copper should be closed once for all. Now, in doing this, it was clearly a panic reaction, and Government of India, Tamil Nadu, ordered the closure. And when Tamil Nadu government ordered the closure, the Pollution Control Board, which is the wing of the Tamil Nadu government, which has not made any allegations against Sterlite Copper before closure, made some charges, and based on the charges, decided that Sterlite Copper should stop operation. Now it has been remaining closed for the last 4 years. Now let us look into the picture more clearly, find out what are these allegations. Are these allegations justifiable? And what is the reason that Sterlite Copper should be allowed to resume operations and operate peacefully and operate with a progressive attitude and approach in operations? Now, what are the allegations? Sterlite Copper produces around 12 lakh tons of sulfuric acid per annum. The allegation is that in the sulfuric acid plant, Sterlite Copper is letting out sulfur dioxide gas through the chimney, which is called as SOT emission. SOT emission is very harmful, as we all know. Sterlite Copper has consistently denied that it is letting out a sulfur dioxide gas and pointed out that it has a very sophisticated desulfurization plant to prevent sulfur dioxide emission going out. And is also, we have a very sophisticated monitoring system to ensure that no sulfur dioxide goes out, and it is completely monitored. And it has said that it has absolutely no evidence that sulfur dioxide gas goes out of Sterlite operations. Now, apart from the Sterlite Copper, there is one more sulfuric acid plant in Tuticorin. Apart from the sulfuric acid plant, there are also a few more thermal plants operating in Tuticorin, near Sterlite Copper. Now, these thermal plants use coal as the fuel. As we all know, coal contains some sulfur. When the coal is burned to produce steam and subsequent to power, through the coal plant, through the chimney, carbon dioxide comes out, and sulfur dioxide also inevitably come out. So, and these coal plants do not have any sophisticated system or does not have any desulfurization system to prevent the sulfur dioxide gas escaping out of the chimney. So now, who has caused this sulfur dioxide emission? No conclusive evidence are there that sulfur dioxide emission is caused by Sterlite Copper. And it has not been investigated whether sulfur dioxide gas could be caused by thermal plants, power plants, or other sulfuric acid plant in Tuticorin. No investigation has been done. When it has not been conclusively established, when it not been proven, and when there is no evidence, the sulfur dioxide gas comes out of the chimney of the Sterlite copper. What is the justification making the allegations about sulfur dioxide emissions from Sterlite copper? The second allegation is that the Sterlite copper operations cause cancer. This is a very laughable allegation. For example, in Chennai, there is no Sterlite copper plant. Don't we have cancer patients in Chennai? In Bangalore, there is no Sterlite copper plant. Don't we have cancer patients in Bangalore? As a matter of fact, the cause why cancer is occurring continue to be under global research all over the world. It has not been conclusively established as to why cancer occurs under various conditions in different type of people. When this is the kind of conditions, when Sterlite copper operation has no cancer-forming impact at all, and there is no justification to prove this, what is the point in creating this kind of a rumor that Sterlite copper is causing cancer? The third allegation is that Sterlite copper is causing effluent disposal problem. Sterlite copper has clearly said that they do not send any effluent at all from the plant. The entire water that is being used is treated, recycled, and reused in the plant. There is no letting out of the effluent or no letting out of the water at all from the plant. When no water is left out, when no effluent is let out, how can there be effluent disposal issue? These are all the fundamental, very obvious factors on which agitations have been made, and for all flawed reasons. And one more thing you have to keep in mind. In Tuticorin, they have got a busy port, which is one of the very busy ports in India right now, where millions of tons of cargoes are being transported year after year. Cargo consisting of solid material, mineral, ores, or liquid, and all that. It is quite possible during the transportation of cargo there could be emissions. Like carbon dioxide emission could be there, nitrous oxide emission could be there, even sulfur dioxide emission could be there. No investigation has been made so far as to what level duty port operations are causing environmental hazards or causing emission. Nothing has been done. So without any basis, without any proof, simply by conducting agitation and making the agitation violent, with the panicky government reacting to the violent agitation, the fate of the Sterlite copper has been sealed by the government of Tamil Nadu. Is it justifiable? Is it a progressive state of affairs? We need to think about it. Now, why should we restart the Sterlite plant? There are hundreds of reasons why it should be done. The Sterlite plant has a capacity of 4 lakh tons per annum. Birla Copper is another plant in India which is producing copper metal that is located in Gujarat. It has a capacity of 5 lakh tons per annum. Capacity of the Birla Copper plant is more than the capacity of the Sterlite Copper plant. Both are operating with almost similar technologies, similar process operations, or even similar equipment. When there is no allegation against Birla Copper, why there is an allegation against Sterlite Copper, which is operating almost under a similar condition as Birla Copper? I will give it to your imagination, and yes, I will not go deeper into this. Now, here the fact is, when Sterlite Copper was operating, Sterlite Copper was contributing 34% of the Indian copper requirement, which is a big quantity. Apart from meeting the Indian requirement, Sterlite Copper has also been exporting copper metal consistently all over the world. Before, when Sterlite plant was in operation, India was exporting copper metal worth 1.1 billion US per year. It's a big quantity. And when Sterlite plant stopped operation, it was closed by Tamil Nadu government. What happened? India, being a net exporter, has become a net importer. Whereas India was exporting around 1.1 billion US worth of copper metal when Sterlite plant was operating. Today, India is importing one copper metal to the extent of 1.2 billion US. The country is losing foreign exchange because this company is remaining closed. Some economists who have calculated say, because of the closure of operation of Sterlite copper, Indian economy is losing around 20,000 crore rupees every year. And this year after year, it is coming. When there is no real environmental issue, as has been certified by the Green Tribunal, should a plant be closed simply because some agitators take the law in their own hands and ensure that the government decides to close the plant? Now, another scenario that you have to look into here is Tamil Nadu government, earlier government, organized a big global investors meet, invited entrepreneurs from all over the world to come and invest in Tamil Nadu. The present government is also saying that they are going to operate an investors conference somewhere in 2023, inviting entrepreneurs around the world to come and invest in a massive way in Tamil Nadu. And present Tamil Nadu government has clearly expressed its commitment to rapid industrialization of state, and several announcements are being made, several agreements are being signed. Now the question is, when you are promoting new plant, new industry, which is going to take 3 or 4 years for completion from now, after completing the various formalities, erection and commissioning, why you want to close a plant which is already operating? See, this plant is already operating. There is no basic issue with regard to this plant, as certified by a Green Tribunal, and the people in Tuticorin have no complaint. And former employees of Tuticorin, who are 2,000 people, and another contract workers who are employed by the Sterlite plant, which is around 7,000, totally 9,000 people around, who have all lost the jobs because of the closure of the Sterlite copper. When you say 9,000 people lost the job, it means 9,000 families are suffering. And they're all pleading that the Sterlite plant should be restarted. See, several employees of Sterlite copper have been living in the quarters. None of them have suffered many cancer. They're asking the government to reopen. They are conducting processions. They are sending representations. They are even sitting as a dharna. All kinds of things said, but everything is falling on dead ears of the government. Nothing is happening. So there's a clamor for reopening of the Sterlite copper by the people there in Tuticorin, by the employees and former workers of Sterlite copper. And in whole India is now importing copper. It's not available adequately in India because of the closure of this. Tamil Nadu is losing huge amount of tax income that is coming from Sterlite copper. And nobody gains anything by closure of Sterlite copper. So why keep it closed? The British Shah closing the Sterlite copper by Tamil Nadu government is like cutting the nose to spite the face. Is it a desirable way? Is it a proper governance? I hope that the government of Tamil Nadu will look into the matter, the seriousness deserved, approach the issue in a proactive manner, find out what is the problem. If there are agitators, if there are environmental activists who have objections, talk to them. Not only talk to them, talk to engineers, talk to technologists who know what they are talking about. Convince the agitators and proceed and allow the plant to operate. That is the need of the day. If that is done, if the government of Tamil Nadu listens to my appeal, then my job is done. This whatever I have talked has served a purpose. Thank you very much.